right, what's good, everybody? Welcome to NestEgg 2.0. We're doing this one live. So we're actually going to do this for everybody. So anybody that you think might be interested or who is currently a customer that's not paying attention, maybe send them this link real quick so they can join us. I know it's a little bit early. We were going to start bumping these back. If you are not one of our customers, this is what we normally call wine and wealth. We kind of, enjoy a nice glass of wine together, and basically by the time we share a glass of wine, I typically teach our customers something new. We've done credit scores, we've done market statistics on how long the markets fall for, how bad things get. We've done budgeting classes, all kinds of different factual, statistical things that we teach our customers just to help. Anything I can do to help you guys learn a little bit more. And so today, the new thing that we have is NestEgg 2.0. We have switched. We are now using a better piece of software for you guys, all based on the suggestions that we got from the first one. So if you've ever used the first NestEgg, all of our customers get a chance to use it if they'd like to. It's not required, by the way, but if you have used it, it was great. It wasn't perfect. And I'm not going to say this is perfect either, but this is really, really cool. So what I thought I'd do is just sort of put this live out there to everybody so that if it's something you're thinking about, if you think it may help you, if you see something here you like and it means you want to work with us, great. But otherwise, I'll be pretty much talking to our customers tonight. Not very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and we'll be on our way. So here we go. Now, the new NestEgg, if you have the old one, you will have until the end of July. We're thinking about pushing it to the end, the absolute last day in July to give you guys time to transfer things, because unfortunately, we won't be able to transfer anything. That's the bad news. The good news is, if you've had a chance to use the new NestEgg, it is super easy to set up. It asks you a series of questions from the very beginning. That gets you started, and then linking things is so much easier than the prior one. So no problem there. I just give you plenty of time. No hurry there. So as of the end of July, the new one will be disabled there, or will be shut down and put out to pasture, so to speak. So here's what I want to do. I want to show you first on the screen. Hopefully I can get this guy to pull up here. Let me take a look. I don't have a helper today. Yeah, there we go. What I want to do is go over to our website real quick. If you are on our home page, right, and you have NestEgg, you just go over to the home page here, click on Client Center. Your login for this one, once we give you the invite and you get a chance to set everything up, right here, NestEgg 2.0 login. That'll take you to the login screen. As of the end of July, this original NestEgg one will disappear. We'll send out tons of emails. We'll keep you constantly updated. I promise we won't leave you hanging. And so that's that one. Also, if you're a brand new customer of ours and you want to change the settings in your portfolio, you want to try something more aggressive, less aggressive, right here is where you can find that fund change request. We do need that in writing, and then of course all the events that we have coming up. Now next week, actually, we're going to go over those stock charts, those charts that you see in our weekly update there, the things that pop up, the little blips on the screen. We're going to go over all that for our customers, explain what it means, how do you sort of decipher the difference between all of them. So if you have a chance next Tuesday, I believe we scheduled that one a little bit later to allow for our West Coast customers have a chance for a glass of wine and to take it easy. Of course, if you have any questions along the way, I will answer them. I know there's a little delay with YouTube. I'll answer them as I see them. Otherwise, we'll wait till the very end. That way, those that are watching this replay don't have to sit through the questions. All right, so here we go. We're going to get started. I'll put the screen up for the new NestEgg. Once you get it, you're going to be asked about 6 sort of panels of questions. How old are you? When do you want to retire? How much money do you want to have per month when you retire? Do you have a spouse? When will they want to retire? Different goals. How much do you think things are going to cost? Just a rough draft, a super, super serious rough draft. Keep in mind that the answers to the questions when you set up NestEgg can always be changed. I'll even show you how to do that tonight. Now, this is the home page that you see here. We're using the client Louis Armstrong, one of the great jazz musicians. So Louis Armstrong, we've got some of his information put in here. I just want to sort of walk you through the tabs at the top. You should be able to see everything up at the top. Every one of you should see the exact same tabs on your portal as well. I include everything. You don't have to fill out everything, but I include everything. So the home screen is always going to be your personal balance sheet. If you did our budgeting class, you know that we talked about treating your finances as a company treats their balance sheet. Really simple to do. But if you treat it like a business, then now you can idolize businesses rather than idolize a financial guru or someone that claims to be really good with money. We can verify if a public company is good or bad with their money. Good example, Spotify. Genius in the way they organized it, but bad at managing their money. They're just not making any money. They lose $1.5 billion a year. Who's good with their money? Well, Apple comes to mind. Netflix seems to be being pretty smart with it at the moment. So we want to sort of idolize companies. So on this home screen here, you see your balance sheet. Now, on every single screen, what happens is it looks like this. I'm going to use this, just pull it out of the way. What you'll see is a graph, and the graph is indicating whatever it is. In this case, it's talking about your net worth, your assets versus your liabilities, your total net worth. Now, on every single screen, you see down here at the bottom the details. This is what I love about this. Instead of navigating to a different screen or trying to figure out where something else is, if you want to know the details of anything or make adjustments, you just click that right down there and I'll scroll down. This is telling us that Mr. Louis Armstrong's got 24 grand in the bank. He's got some investments. We could dig into those in a minute. He doesn't have any real estate. He's always on tour, so he don't have any real estate. He probably should have some life insurance, but he's got nothing. And you can just see how it breaks down his assets there. His liabilities, old Louis's been racking up the credit card debt. We're going to explain why in a second. He has no mortgage or anything at the moment, although you can add all of that if you like. And so his total net worth, I think, is a little low, but he's got 281 for a net worth. So the details of everything always right on the bottom of this here. And if it's something that we review together, did you see that right there where we can leave a note? If it's something we review together and we have a plan of something that we're going to do in the future and you want to be reminded of that, then I can add notes there for you. We can also add tasks for each other. If it's something you say, hey, I want to check up in 6 months and see how my savings plan is going. Dustin, can we do that? We'll leave a note. We can even set a task. So what you see up at the top here is the main sort of navigation and then the sub-tabs within inside of that. So inside of your main dashboard, you've got the balance sheet, which is always where it's going to be, what do you call it? Where it's always going to be the default home screen there, okay? So that's that one. And what happened to my camera? 1 second. There we go. We're back. I think the storms in the area are messing with everything. No problem. Okay, so now moving over to liquidity. These are the most important things that you want to focus on for your money, so we put them right up front. Liquidity. If something happens tomorrow, how much money will you have to move forward, to keep going, right? And so what you can see on the screen, that didn't blip out actually, is Mr. Louis Armstrong has so much in actual liquidity, but he needs a little bit more. Down here at the bottom, what you see is the liquidity target. You know how we talk about having 6 months of emergency funds, then pushing it up to 8 months? Yeah, really sorry about that. There are some serious storms coming through here. We talk about having the emergency funds 6 to 8 months. Well, we can actually just look real quick and go, does he have it? By going to the details at the bottom and taking a quick look. The graph adjusts automatically and it shows, do we have 6 months of emergency funds? Well, no, we're working our way towards that. But if for some reason there was a big problem today, how far could Louis make it? He could make it just about 3 months, right? So he would need $26,550. He only has $24,000 in available liquidity at the moment, cash available. And so he would actually be short by a total of $2,500. Just like that. You can see if you have your emergency fund or anything, so I love that. Again, that's going to be under the sort of tab here at the bottom that you can click on, okay? All right, moving on to the budget. I don't have Louis hooked up to any banks or anything at the moment, so what I'm going to do is shift over to a customer's account where they are cool with us showing it. I am not going to show their name out of respect, but they said it was cool that we show this as the budget. When you click on the budgeting tab, you have to link your bank account, and what you'll be kind of guided to do that in the beginning, but the budgeting tab to me is super, super easy, and you can even get really detailed with it. So without going too crazy here, this is what you see in the beginning here, just all of the stuff linked up. You can even break it down by month. We'll go by this last month. Actually, let's do the current month. So by current month, you can see how we're doing as far as our spending, and then everything you need is right down here at the bottom, okay? So we don't have to navigate anywhere. We can say, what do we want to budget for? What is the difference? How bad did we do, right? Did you budget for something and then you went over or under? All right here, very clean on the page. without having to go too far. And then if you go, well, wait a minute, Dustin, some of these aren't categorizing correctly, this too will learn in real time, but you're going to find that under transactions, okay? So under transactions, if you went to somewhere and you said, oh, this is not the right one, just click on it, change the expense that you have there, and that'll automatically start adjusting as you go forward, okay? So under the budget tab, that's super, super flexible. I would say one of my favorite parts of this so far. All right, we'll go quickly through the debt. Here's a great one where once you put in the information, you may want to sort of see a debt plan. Dustin, I'm going to pay my debts off in 10 years, or I'm going to pay them off in 8 years, or what happens if I pay things off a little faster? Well, let's take a look real quick. This one's really clean, really simple. Again, down here at the bottom, just click the action items, and that'll pull up for, well, for Louis anyways. We know that Louis's got a credit card now of $35,000, and he's got a Capital One credit card of $2,500. Now, if he keeps everything as it is, this is the scale to show him. Well, here, oh, actually, let me back it up a little bit. He has minimum payments of $825 that he has to make per month for these credit cards, okay? So if he goes through the life cycle of paying this off, it shows where he'll end up paying it off in April of 2023 to get his debts paid off, okay? And that might be cool. That might be something he's looking to do. But maybe, and this question comes up a lot, well, what if I do another $200? And so what we can do is just play the game with everything already loaded in. We know the interest rates, we know everything because it's linked up automatically. We hit refresh, and now he can, $200 is not actually going to make, oh, I didn't change it. So if we reallocate the payments, pay $200 extra a month, now he's going to pay off the debts 15 months sooner, and you can see up here at the top, he's going to save almost $2,600. Very quickly, you're able to see, oh, cool, no problem. Now I'll be done in 2021 after Christmas if you don't spend too much money. So very simple. Now, if we wanted to take something out, of course, all of this is tweakable. What if we said $200 more a month, but we only want to focus on one card? How soon until we have the one card paid off, right? Or what happens if we pay from the lowest balance to the highest balance, highest interest rate, lowest interest rate? You can have a lot of fun with this once your stuff is linked up in here. And so that's the debt tab under here. You can go further into all the details and stuff of how the payments are going to break down, how many you'll have, and exactly how they're going to go through, the interest and everything you're going to pay. If you really want to get geeky about it, click the monthly tab, and you can actually see how all of this is going to break down for you as you go. I don't know that I would do it so much here with the debt unless you have lots of different debts. Helps you really organize it, but I like the details tab for retirement. We'll get to that in a second. All right, tasks, of course, we can assign tasks to each other. If you have anything that you need help with, we could do that there as well. On the investment tab up at the top, there we go. We got in the investment tab, this shows what his current accounts are allocated as. So Mr. Louis Armstrong's got 37% in equities, international, emerging markets, real estate, and so on and so on. We can then click the button down here at the bottom, take a look at some of that information and start making changes to it. Now this first tab here is really just kind of an informational tab. As you go through sector and style, not only do we kind of tell you where you're at, but it also sort of defines where your exposure is to. I saw a few of you as I was digging around in here. Some of you have highly concentrated positions in probably some of your favorite stocks or the company plan. So if you are working for a company that offers you shares of your company in one fashion or another, and you haven't sold those shares, this part, your concentration, is going to start to show you how relying on your company's performance you really are. We try to talk you out of that, right? Reduce your exposure. If you have your 401k with your company, you get your paycheck from your company, and now they're giving you shares which you're using as future income, you got a lot riding on that company. So this page here would give you that sort of focus. Now, when you get closer to retirement, the tax allocation category, this is kind of like, you know, maybe a little bit too geeky. But what this is showing is that out of all the money that Mr. Louis Armstrong has, he's got $216,000 that is maybe a 401k. I know it's a 401k. It's him and his wife's 401k. He also has him and his wife in a Roth IRA, and so that would be their tax-free assets. So something to consider there. That's why when I make the videos where I say if you've got a 401k that offers a match, that's great. Go ahead and get the match. If you don't need it to reduce any income, go start with the Roth IRA. We want these to balance each other. We don't want to end up with all our money that's tax deferred and then end up with only some that's tax free, because then, you know, if you're looking at this 216, you figure about a third of that's gone right off the top, right, for taxes. So it makes it a little bit different. We'll go over to the retirement tab real quick, and this is one of the most fun tabs for me. I like playing with this one here. We have a plan built in here, and the plan is starting to develop basically as you answer the questions from the beginning. Now, that's going to give you a probability of success to reach your goal. Mr. Louis Armstrong here has a goal of so much income, we'll show in a second, for retirement. Now, underneath, always underneath here, this is everything that the plan is being, or everything that we're using to calculate the plan. So his retirement age, 65, his wife's retirement age, 65, they want $5,200 a month in retirement expenses, okay? So here's their salary, what they're contributing to their 401ks, and what their current expenses are. Now watch what happens. One of the coolest parts about this is, what about like Social Security? If you want to tweak that number and start to play around with it, over here on the right, what if we said optimize it, right? Right now, they're going to take, the system's going to say they're going to take Social Security at their retirement age. What if we looked for the most optimum strategy for Social Security? Without guessing, without having to hire a lawyer or something, we're able to look and say, just by optimizing that, now we're even closer to hitting our goals. But what does optimizing mean? Like, how does that even help? Well, look at this tab up here, Social Security. If we click on that one now that we've optimized it, here's where we're at. The dark blue is your optimized strategy. The blue is, or I'm sorry, the gray is what you had already factored, right? Taking it at 65. By simply doing it like this, it tells you at the bottom too. Louis, you take Social Security at 70. Lucille, that's his wife, you start at 62. By doing that, you end up with about $1 million more in your lifetime, assuming you live to be quite an old couple, but you know where we're getting at here. So you're able to sort of move this around and go, what's the difference? What if we end up taking Social Security as early as possible? What happens then? Take a look at the graph there where you start saying, well, I'm going to take it out early. That's great, but could you do better? Right? And so you can just kind of play with it, you know, and see how things change little by little as you make these changes here. Not that you would follow it. I mean, if you need to take it, of course you're going to take it. But if you know a husband and wife how you can kind of set that up, that is of course great. I'll do the stress test thing real quick. I don't want to like bug you guys. You let me know if I'm like taking too much time. But the stress test here. This one I got a lot of questions on. We had a lot of customers sort of get a head start on this platform to give us some feedback. And this one's interesting because every time I make a video about inflation or a projected calculation that has to do with how much you'll be in retirement, we're making a lot of assumptions. And you may disagree with those assumptions. People that are viewing those sort of $50 a week turns into X number of dollars or $28 a week, some of these things we're just making assumptions because I have to start somewhere. Now you can go in here and stress test against anything you want. So you can actually pull it up and say, Dustin, I think inflation is going to be a lot higher than you think. I think I'm going to live longer than you think, or shorter because of maybe some family history. I think the markets are going to return less over some period of time. And so we could assume even a market crash. Go into the stress test once you have everything loaded up and sort of play the worry wart, right? Pretend that something is going to go wrong if you want, and you can really start to factor that in. Social Security is a big one. People like to reduce the amount, just assuming it's going to be less. You could do that, of course, as well. So have some fun with that one. That one's kind of, you don't have to do this every day, but if every now and then you check in and sort of play games, that's cool. Now, up here at the top, we don't do really insurance, but I know a lot of you have different types of annuities or insurance and different health savings accounts. Right up here at the top is where you want to do that. Any plans for education, even down to tax. If you want to take a look at different tax rates, distributions, details, even your when you fill out your taxes, depending on where you're at. I don't think it'll do it here for Mr. Armstrong. Oh, it will. His 1040. It'll even give him a sample of the 1040 and where he's looking, how it's sort of looking for the end of the year. Now, I warn you on this one, you need to put a lot of work into this. You need to have your state selected. You need to have your state taxes, if that's what you have. You need to have your federal tax rate at least have it selected to calculate it for you, but you can get an idea of your tax rate there. And then here's where we're going to go for Mr. Louie. This is where you'll go to make adjustments after you've answered the 6 questions. On the profile over here at the right, you got your net worth, goals, income, saving, expenses, and family. Remember that? That's how you answered the questions when you started with NestEgg. It will always start with your net worth, and this is very similar to the original NestEgg where we can see quickly all of our accounts here. And this sort of matches up to what we talked about earlier. He had $24,000 in the bank. We know he's got some credit card debt, and he's got investments that include Roth IRA with us, 401ks, and of course his wife's account as well. This is where you can make changes to any of that and link any of your accounts. If you want to link your Folio account with us, you're going to hit link account, and you're just going to type in Folio. It's the first one, Folio FN, and then of course you'll sign in with your own credentials into your account. It'll do the second factor authentication, and that'll be it. If it's anything else, just click link account. I see Fidelity on there. Of course, it's off to the right, but depending on which Fidelity you're using, if it's Fidelity Investments, it's probably the most common for you. Just go right up in there and start typing Fidelity, or just click on it. Anything else, of course, is in there that you want to link up to. Even some random ones, some people that couldn't link up, small banks are even in there. Shout out to Patricia for finally getting her hooked up on that one. Anyway, so that's linking that up. Now, one thing I want to point out, we're going to do lots of tutorials on these, so this is just kind of an overview, but one thing I want to point out, if you're just getting started today, look over here to the right, see this included in plan. If you manually add the account, you may have to choose this button if you want it factored into your retirement plan. If I take this out, then it will not calculate on that retirement page with the probability of success. So make sure whatever you want to go towards your plan, it could be health savings accounts, whatever you link up, make sure it definitely says included in plan so that we know it's calculating your goals. That'll be the first thing I check if you guys have any issues with some of those numbers. All right, just a couple more things. Louis Armstrong's goal, he wanted to retire at 65, Lucille at 65. We can, of course, tweak that if the plans don't allow. He wants $5,200 in retirement expenses. Of course, you can tweak that. Just simply click on it and make the change that you like there. These are the different goals that they have put in there for retirement costs and things. If you want to add a goal, right here, just put any goal that you want. There was a guy today that wanted to cross the country to go to a wedding. Fine, you can put that in there. It doesn't have to be your wedding, it could be anything. That'll be in the goals section. Income, here's where we've seen all this information already, but here's where you go to change it. If you want to change any of the income assumptions, Social Security, maybe you're already getting it. This is where you can add that. Also, any extra income that you have, whether it's a new business, divorce, whatever it may be, you can add it in there. And then, of course, savings. How are you saving? We know that, and this is a big deal here for the plan, by the way, your 401k, if you're putting in 6% and the company's matching 3%, take a second to put that in there. That'll make a big difference. All right, so make sure that's in there, yeah, to get you started. So very, very simple. I don't want to make it harder than it is because it's really pretty straightforward. Any expenses that you have, we want to know before you retire what's your pre-retirement living expenses, because that's going to help on the budget. It's also going to help on the calculations. Any taxes that you may want to add in there, be sure to include those. And then, of course, we can add any other expenses that you might want to include there for yourself. And as you have children, anything you want to add in there as far as your spouse, your child, anything inheriting, grandchildren, things that you are planning for, then let's go ahead and put them in there as well. Whew! I did it right. Didn't even have the glass of wine tonight. That should be it. Okay, so it's a starting point. We're going to do tutorial videos on each one of these sections, really simple. There's a lot of great help sections in there, but I want to build our own. So little by little, I want to let you guys play with it that have already gotten started on it. If you do want this, you haven't had it yet, send me a quick email. We'll get you set up. If you're one of our customers, happy to do that for you. And now, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to go through them. We'll wrap this thing up. All right. Oh, you guys are sort of chatting. You might have to ask the question again. I might. Henry can't wait to wipe his tears. Henry, you're set up. My daughter, she did that one today. She got you set up. NestEgg is available. Yeah, as soon as your account's funded, we can actually link this up for our customers at jazzWealth to get you started and sort of build that plan. The app is, I'm told, a couple weeks away, so you are very, very close. Yep, that was also a big decision for us there. The original NestEgg was, it was okay, you know. And you can do the same thing with this one, where it's not really an app. You can just save it as an icon on your screen, but there's going to be an app, whereas the last one, there was not going to be an app. You have about 20,000 in gold and silver. Can I just put in the number of ounces and let NestEgg track the value? What you can do is add an individual, individual down here. You're going to go to, how would you add that? I would add it as taxable, and then you could actually include, I'm going to tell you to include, let me look up the symbol because I want to see how you can include the price of gold. You won't be able to actually include the physical price of gold to track it. We might have to use an ETF for that, but let me see if there is a way to track the actual price of gold, because we can put individual, like if you own one stock, or in this case silver or something, you can put that in there. I want to get you the best way to track it though. Let me get back to you on that. I know who you are. Is the right note available only on your side? That's where I can leave a note for you. Yep, and so you would get an alert on that. Maybe I would say, and I would probably use tasks more often, but if it was something that you wanted me to look at, if it was just easier for me to leave a note for you, we can do that. You can link up Robinhood. Yep. You made it. Great. You get your login credentials, Bill. If we haven't, because we're changing over, if we missed you, just send me an email real quick, or support at jazzWealth. I'll make sure you get set up. Fidelity can link. Yo, good. I am catching up. Yep, you can link credit card accounts in NestEgg. You can link almost any account that you normally log into. So if you log in somewhere and check your online balance, mortgage, credit card, whatever, you should be able to log it here in NestEgg. Here's where you'll go, by the way. Your net worth on the profile tab, just click link account and type in whoever it may be that you're looking for. Henry, so pretty much Dustin can see everything about us if you're a customer of his. True, however, I can't see your transactions. If you don't want, you have to physically tell me to do that. It's just like the old NestEgg. I don't want to know if you go to Circle K at 2 o'clock in the morning, but if you want me to see that you're spending too much on junk food, I can see that. All the other stuff, as far as like when you're swiping your card and where you're at in the middle of the night, don't worry, I won't tell him. I can't see it, so I can't be used as a source for any of that. If the missus calls and she starts asking me where you've been, I'm not going to be able to tell her. If you're married, though, do you enter both of your incomes and debts, or is it just the person that... Go both. Yeah, you want to develop a plan for you and your spouse. If you think you're going to be with your spouse for the long run, go ahead and include that spouse in the plan. Yep, you can. So Chris has got it right there, too. So you definitely cannot see your transactions. Keith, let me know what bank you got there. It may just be under a different name, or we may have to search by website. Dustin, can jazzWealth via phone screen sharing to ensure my numbers are correct? Yeah, of course. Sure. No, if you're Chris, you're one of my customers. I'm happy to go through it with you. Let me know when a good time is. Tracking physical gold. Okay, yeah. Let me get that for you then, because I'm thinking what we'll have to do is use an ETF to track gold and silver. I don't like that, though, as an answer, because it's going to be 1/10 of the actual value. So the trick or the workaround there may be to add the gold ETF and just times your holdings by 10 so that we can get the accurate per ounce. We're going to have to trick it, I think, on that one. But let me see. Maybe there's a symbol that I don't know that we can put in the symbol. Yanitza. Hola. Unfortunately, yeah, we're going to have to start over. So, yeah, I'm sorry. We're going to have to start over. That one's the frustrating part, but it's really, really easy to actually get the new stuff put in there. Take 10 minutes, maybe. So that's that. That is that. A little bit of struggle for a lot of good. Okay, so that's it. If you're joining us, you're wondering what in the world is going on. I don't know anything about this here. That's just normally a class we reserve for our customers. I just thought it'd be fun to sort of do this for everybody. Of course, yeah. Kene, certainly. So it's not something you need to use every day. If you want to update it, check in once a quarter, every so often. I have alerts that go off every day to sort of follow up with customers I haven't talked to in a while. And maybe it's when we follow up with you, you go, hey, yeah, let's take a quick look, see what's going on. But definitely not an everyday thing. If you want to use the budget, now the budgeting thing may be something you take a little more aggressively and sort of spend more time on. But, you know, up to you. Like I said, some people won't use it and some people will love it. But that is that. If I have confused you, sorry. If I've helped you, great. Let's get started on it. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. And we'll go from there. If there's any questions you have, you know where to find me, of course. We'll be back for our next Wine and Wealth. For our customers only this time, we are going to do the charts. So get ready. I will wait to have my glass of wine so that I'm nice and fresh, ready to go. We're going to go over those charts in detail. If you have any interest in trading or anything that has to do with those charts that I show at 4 o'clock, that'll be next week. Otherwise, for the rest of you, we'll see you tomorrow. The video tomorrow at 1 is going to be, how does all this commission stuff work? How does Dustin trade all of our accounts and there's no commission per trade? We got the dividend fund that has 100 stocks in it. Why don't we pay $3.95 per trade? How are we not just getting ripped off there? How does Robinhood do it? How do all these other companies, well, actually I don't think there's a lot of companies, but how do they do it without commissions? What's the secret behind that? And we're going to get geeky. This week is all about being geeky at 1 o'clock on some of the details. So we will go from there. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Have a great evening.